Hey folks, this is Donnie. I am headed up to the property. I'm going to remove 2 cameras, and I've got the, well, I'll show you when I get there, what else I'm doing. But I'm headed up there now. It is Sunday afternoon. It's been a very hectic and very crazy the last 3 days, but I'll fill you in on everything when we get to the property. I'm at a red light and it's fixing to turn green, so I gotta get off here. Hold on. It's creepy in there. Got some articles to share with you. I do not like the feel of that right there. I'm gonna get around that opening back there. I think, let's see if we can do this. We're gonna do another article today, folks. I'm at the property. Just gotta be careful. It was almost 80 degrees today, and I do not have my snake boots on. And Florida is ate up with snakes. So I can get through this mess. Oh, I can walk over, that'd be fun. There we go. Ow! Boy, that's got thorns. Oh, Lord. That got me. I don't know what got me. That's a holly. They don't have thorns, but there's a briar or something in there. It got me good. Sorry about that. It snatched my microphone out of my pocket. Oh, gee whiz. Always something. I even stuck it in a way it was protected, not exposed, fully covered. And that went under my shirt, cut my stomach, cut my hand, and snatched the microphone out. Ooh, that hurt. That's one of them briars. We got these briars here that they got some type of poison in them. You'll swell up like a hornet stinging you. All right, I'm gonna find somewhere right over here to get set. So hold on just 1 second. I just stepped on the root of this tree where the tree blew over from the storm, from the hurricane. And it's got like a cavern under it. And when I stepped on it, it started caving in, and I seen all the claw marks. So I'm pretty sure there's a fox under this tree, and I probably just got him upset. Set this down. I'm trying to do this in the wind. There are photographs with this one, or pictures. And we'll be sharing that with you too. And I'll give you a little rundown of what's been going on the last few days. It's been pretty crazy. There's something moving underneath the root. Alright guys, I decided to set up over here. I'm at the property, but we are at the east side. And I've only had an issue with some type of activity one time over here. And it scared the daylights out of me like it always does. But anyhow, we're going to get on with this. I had a bad feeling when I first walked in right over here. And I don't know if I'm going to add that clip in with this or not. But just had a really bad feeling. It's probably 50 or 60 yards that way. Straight north of me. Alright, we're going to get on with this. We're going to make this happen. Try to keep this one fairly short. This is titled The Devil Country of Alaska. The year was April to June of 1900. The location is the Patterson River area near Thomas Bay, 50 miles northwest of Wrangell, Alaska. The information source is eyewitness, survivor testimony to trusted friends. The preface reads, this southeastern part of Alaska near the British Columbia border, an archipelago of islands which includes Thomas Bay and the Patterson River, is called Devil Country by the local natives for two reasons. In 1750, there was a huge devilish landslide that came down the mountain into Thomas Bay and buried a village of 500 Indians. The second reason is for the devilish creatures that inhabit this area. Aggressive, people-abducting, large bushmen, Sasquatch. The account begins in April of 1900 with four broke prospectors living together in a shack in Wrangell, Alaska. The events are related by one of the prospectors that stayed behind in Wrangell, while another one, Charlie, left in May and returned in June with a wild tale of terror and left Alaska for good shortly thereafter. The telling of events by one of the four prospectors who remained in Wrangell. Charlie came into the shack one night in April, all excited, and said, fellas, I have been on the trail of an old Indian for the last month, trying to get him to tell me where he picked up 3 gold quartz at his camp. I never said anything about it before to you because I wanted to get the story from him first. Today he spilled the beans, fellas. He told me to go up to Thomas Bay and camp on Patterson River on the right side. Travel upriver for about 8 miles and then turn to the high mountains. After traveling for about 1.5 miles, I would find a lake shaped like a half moon with plenty of stone found there like on the slide, he said. Of course, a prospector is ready to stampede on a whisper of gold, any place, and we were no exception to the rule. We talked the matter over and it was decided that we would run our faces for an outfit and send Charlie to look the prospect over. While he was gone, the other 3 of us would hustle work somewhere for another grub stake, an amount of material, provisions, or money supplied to an enterprise in return for a share in the resulting profits, and pay off the old one. The beginning of May, Charlie loaded his outfit into a canoe and, having favorable weather, left for Thomas Bay, which lies northwest of Wrangell, about 50 miles. He had 3 months' supply, but was to come back sooner if he found anything. If he didn't show up in that time, we were to put out a search for him. The 2 others took out a contract to get out wood, and I got a job in the Wrangell sawmill. Things went along until the first part of June, and on a Sunday in the late afternoon, with us all being home, in walks Charlie, without a coat or hat and looking like he had been through hell. He didn't give us any greeting whatever, but heaped a piece of quartz over into the corner of the room and said, give me something to eat. I'm all in and want to rest. After eating, he turned in without telling us a thing about his trip. We picked up the piece of quartz, and it was a pretty thing to look at for a prospector. It was shot through with gold specks, like a badly freckled-faced kid. Were we excited? I say we were. Just before dark, we walked down to the beach to bring Charlie's outfit, as he had come up to the shack with only that piece of quartz in his hand, but there wasn't a thing in his canoe except the oars. Not much sleep for us that night, as Charlie never stopped sawing wood. We had hard work getting Charlie up for breakfast the next morning, but when he did roll out, he just ate, borrowed a coat and hat, and left the shack without saying a word or answering the many questions put to him by us. All of us being excited and feeling ourselves worth a fortune, did not go to work that day but sat around the shack and passed around the piece of quartz to each other while we talked and waited for Charlie to come back and make his report. Believe me, we were anxious to hear it. Along in the afternoon he came in and said, "Fellas, the SS Durango will be in on her way south early tomorrow morning. Can you give me enough money for my ticket to Seattle? I'm through with Alaska and never want to see it again. I'll tell you about my trip to Thomas Bay and where I found the quartz, but my advice to you is to forget about it. It will never do you any good and will only cause you a lot of mental and physical pain. If we were not partners, I would never open my lips about this trip or what I found. But if you promise to never mention my name in connection with what I tell you or mention the name of Thomas Bay to me again, I'll give you the straight of my experience up there. Judge for yourselves as to my saneness, because this is the most astounding thing you have ever heard, and as far as I'm concerned, it is beyond me to reason it out. Don't ask any questions to prolong my story, as long as it takes to tell it, because I want to leave Alaska and forget it if I can. I will try to make the one telling plain enough, and this is Charlie's story. The first night after leaving Wrangell found me in Ideal Cove. Next night I reached Muddy River in time to make camp again. The third night I hit Ruth Island and Thomas Bay. I spent the next day looking up Patterson River for a suitable place for a good camp, which I found a quarter of a mile up from Tidewater on the right-hand side, looking up the river. I broke camp on Ruth Island the next day and moved up to the place I picked out the day before, put up my tent, packed up my outfit, and left the canoe on its riverbank. I'm going to turn a little bit. I don't like my back being over there. The next day I spent cooking beans, cutting wood, and making things comfortable for a long stay. As it looked like rain, I wanted to get things fixed to keep dry. It started to rain that night, and it just kept up for days. I lost track of time as each day was like the one before. I had nothing to read, was all alone, and couldn't do anything without getting soaked, and the roar of the river through the timber drove me bugs, so I put in most of my time sleeping. Finally, the weather broke and I got out. Spent several days trying to find the old man's Half Moon Lake, but couldn't get it spotted. I did find, about 2 miles from camp up the river and about a mile from it, a lake shaped like the letter S. A lake shaped like the letter S on the creek coming out from the lower end. I panned some pretty good colors, but as I figured, not enough to get excited about. Yet an indication of gold in the country. Talk about a dead country, it sure is. There doesn't seem to be any life in there at all. You might spend all day in the timber without seeing a squirrel. I was getting sort of tired of beans, rice, and bacon, so I made my mind up I would go over to the ridge about 8 miles east of the S Lake and get a few grouse, as I thought I could hear a few hooters up there, and when I was at the head of this lake. I left camp the next morning, which was a fine sunny day, and I took only the rifle with me. And when I came to the ridge, sure enough, there were a few grouse hooting. I shot 2 and I got them. When I bagged another one that fell down the ridge about 100 yards when it got hung up. On my way down, I found that piece of quartz and paid very little attention on what the country I was in looked like, as it was so heavily timbered and brushy. The rock formation didn't show up and I had no tools to uncover it. The top of an old snag had fallen and scraped the top moss and loose dirt for about a space of 8 feet wide and 18 to 20 feet long, covering this quartz ledge where I found this piece. I couldn't find anything to break off the piece with, so I used the butt of my gun to get that piece. In doing so, I broke the stock of my gun, thus ruining it for further use. This didn't worry me any, as I knew there were no large game larger than a grouse and a few of them. The first thing I thought of was the richness of the quartz and getting back to you fellas to round you all up and get busy on it. After looking over and enjoying that feeling that I had found a rich find, I covered up the ledge again with moss, limbs, and a rotting chunk of wood. Finishing that job, I thought I would climb the ridge directly over the ledge and get my landmarks so I could come back to it again and tell you where it was if anything should happen to me. This I did, climbing straight up over the ledge on the ridge till I reached the top, which was about 600 feet above where I found the ledge. I looked down below me and picked out a big tree with a bushy top, taller than the rest, and about 50 feet to the right of the ledge. Looking over the top of this tree from where I stood, I could see out on Frederick Sound. Cake in a straight line, the point of Vanderput Spit, and turning a little to the left, I could see Sequoia Island, which is Kodiak Island, from the mouth of the Wrangell Narrows. Satisfied with that, I turned half around to get sight of mountain peaks. Below me on the other side of the ridge was the Half Moon Lake that the Indian had told me about. Right there, fellas, I got the scare of my life. I hope to God I never see it or go through the likes of it again. Swarming up the ridge from the lake towards me were the most hideous creatures. I couldn't call them anything but devils, as they were neither man nor monkey but looked like both. They were entirely sexless, their bodies covered with long coarse hair except where the scabs and runny sores had replaced it. Each one seemed to be reaching out for me and striving to be the first one to get me. The air was full of their cries, and the stench from their sores and their bodies made me faint. I forgot my broken gun, and I tried to use it on the first ones, and then I threw it at them and turned and ran. God, how I did run. I could feel their hot breath on my back, their long claw-like fingers scraping my back. The smell from their steaming, stinking bodies was making me sick. Their noises they made, yelling and screaming, drove me mad. Reason left me. How I reached the canoe or how I hung on to that piece of quartz is a mystery to me. When I came to, it was night, and I was lying in the bottom of my canoe, drifting between Thomas Bay and Sequoia Island, cold, hungry, and crazy for a drink of water. To satisfy the latter, I started for Wrangell, and here I am. You no doubt think I am crazy or lying. All I can say is there is the quartz. Never let me hear the name of Thomas Bay again, and for God's sake, help me get away tomorrow on that boat, please. So Charlie passed out from our lives, and we put his story down as fantasy, caused by loneliness and morbid thought. The afterthought. Imagine it being 1900, you're out by yourself in the middle of nowhere, in the Alaskan wilderness with a broken gun. The woods are devoid of animal life. You're running for your life from these creatures and the stress that would cause. The stress of barely escaping and the stress of not being believed. While not directly in it, this area lies just south of the Alaska Triangle, a notorious section where yearly disappearances are approximately 1 in 1,000 people. And that's the end of this article. I'm going to get over there. I'm going to show you these pictures. Guys, there's definitely something over there without a doubt. Another thorn. There's a briar out there. Shoot. I don't know what's over there. There's something moving. It's maybe a dog. We got a bear on camera here years ago. I don't know what that is, but I don't want a part of it. It's got me on the edge. Sorry about all the noise. I'm gonna get behind the camera so that I can see. I can watch that way, and I'm gonna show you guys these pictures, and then I'm gonna get out of here. All right, here's the first one. Bird's eye view of Wrangell, Alaska, on the tip of one of the islands in an archipelago of islands in southeast Alaska. Thomas Bay, Alaska, where in 1750 a mountain slide buried a village of 500 Indians, and where Charlie navigated through on his way to the Patterson River. Guess I need to hold it up. You guys could read it too. I do not like the feeling I'm having right now. I'm gonna try to get through these so I can get out of here. 1750 mountain slide area in Thomas Bay, Alaska, where Charlie navigated past heading northwest from Wrangell. Oh, okay, hold on. Guys, I'm sorry about that. I just happened to look over there under that brush, and I, without a doubt, 100%, there was movement. There was definitely something very large in there. It looked to be kind of an orange, looked like fur, hair, not hair, but fur, long fur, orange with like yellow streaks in it. Maybe a bear, I don't know. I'm gonna get over here by the car. Sorry about that. I'll show you the other pictures. Let me set the camera, hang on. All right, I think this is the picture I left off with. If not, I apologize. I'm not sticking around when there's something that close to me that I actually seen. I was looking directly at it when it moved. I don't know what it was. Bear, dog, I don't know. It was larger than a little dog. All right, beautiful Thomas Bay, Alaska. Charlie would have seen this as he navigated past this area. And that is beautiful. It's phenomenal. The wind's blowing, so it's making it a little awkward. Oh, my camera screen blacked out on me. There it goes. The Patterson River area, 50 miles northwest of Wrangell, where the Indian told Charlie to make camp on the right side of the river before exploring further upriver. I don't ever get a bad feeling right here where we're at right now. This is where we always park, and I've got the strongest feeling hitting me right now. I do not like it at all. I'm gonna get out of here as soon as we show these pictures. The heavy timber area around the Patterson River that was devoid of wildlife, even squirrels, where Charlie found the gold quartz and where he ran for his life from the Bushman creatures. The gold quartz found The gold quartz Charlie found by the Patterson River and brought back to Wrangell. Get it up where you guys can see it, maybe. Sorry about that. I'm trying to hold it as stiff as I can so it doesn't flop around in the wind. It's a big hunk, isn't it? The face of the aggressive bushman of Alaska's devil country, the face Charlie ran for his life from. I'm sorry, the screen keeps going black. Look at that. Yeah, I can see a demonic look to that for sure. The area where Charlie woke up drifting in his canoe after barely escaping the Bushmen between Thomas Bay and Sequoia Islands. Notice the Devil's Thumb area on the right. It goes along with this being Devil's Country, or Devil Country. Oh, I wish I would have had less pictures. I love the pictures, but I want to get the ship SS Durango that Charlie wanted to be on the very next morning, that was stopping in Wrangell and heading south to Seattle, Washington. Charlie left Alaska for good. I think I'm going to skip the next ones and oh, that's the last one. That's even better. I'm going to put this up and I'm going to get out of here. I just don't want to be here, guys. I'm sorry. I can't deal with all that. I do not like seeing stuff, whether it's a dog, whatever it is. It ain't for me. Not for me at all. I'm going to get out of here. Well, I'll share this with you right quick, like get up here where I can watch that area. You know, we went to the vet Friday with Waddles. He ended up with, I think he's got 13 stitches in his side. They had to remove some of the torn up flesh. Got him sewed up. He's on antibiotics and pain medication right now. He's doing good. He doesn't feel good. The antibiotics are making him real nauseous, so we have to make sure he's got plenty to eat with him. But he does have an appetite. He's doing good. He's on the mend. We got home, had to deal with an issue with the potbelly pigs. Got that squared away. I was supposed to meet a guy over where the property, our lease is at. We were going in there together to hunt, try to get these pig numbers under control. I was 2 hours late. I got there at dark. So I had to go in by myself. I took the four-wheeler, but still, I don't like being there. Normally, I would drive and park the four-wheeler, walk about 100 yards to my tree stand. Or I'll walk the entire stretch, that 300 yards, I'll park the car and I'll walk into the shooting house. Well, this time I went to the tree stand. I was so scared. I didn't want to park and walk 100 yards in the dark, even with the lights that I had. So I pulled up and parked under the tree stand. I stepped off the four-wheeler, took 8 steps, and I grabbed the ladder to the tree stand to start climbing up. I had to tie my gun to a rope so I could pull it up once I get up there. Grabbed it, put my foot on the ladder, and I hear beside me, 20 feet from me, a pig walking in the water right there. I turned my headlamp off real quick and I started climbing. I wanted to be off the ground. My gun was tied up. It would have took me probably 30, 40 seconds to get it untied to be able to use it if that pig would have come after me. And he was close. He was real close to me. So I just climbed. I got up to the top. I hooked my safety harness on, or I got it attached to the tether that's up top. Got in the stand, hung my backpack on the ladder, pulled the rifle up, turned around and sat, turned on the night scope thing, and he was gone. He done got away. Within a few hours pass, it's getting late, and I can hear from almost straight in front of me, a little bit to, if straight in front of me is 12 o'clock on a wall clock. If you lay a wall clock down where you're looking at the numbers with it on a table, 12 o'clock would be looking straight ahead of me in my stand. Well, from about, say, the 2 o'clock position, if the wall clock was there, about a 2 o'clock position that way, all the way around to about a 5 o'clock position, I'm hearing limbs break all out in the pines out there. And I knew it was pigs because it was pretty large limbs snapping. I waited and waited, and finally, it's dark. I look through the scope and I see a pig. I see him poke his head out, and he's out there probably 75 to 80 yards in front of me. At night, through that type of scope, you can't tell the size of the animal unless you have it by something you can compare it to. There's nothing there to compare it to. There's a pine tree about that big around that I got my camera on, but I don't know how close he is to the pine trees on the other side of it. Well, just his head comes out, then he eases out. The water is about 5 foot in front of the tree, the swamp water. He eases out, got his nose right there on the edge of the bank. I could see the whole pig. I was going to shoot him. I said no, because I hear these others are coming his direction. Then a second one comes out. The second one steps out, and he turns his head and he looks straight at me, and I'm in the pitch darkness. I mean, it's black. I'm up in that tree. He looks right at me. The other one's eating. He's rooting the ground up. This one is staring at me like this. And I knew if he would have alerted the others, they would have all been gone. And that the whole purpose of me being out there at night is we gotta get these pigs under control. So I laid the rifle out. The one looking at me, I put it, the crosshairs where I wanted the bullet to go, and I squeezed the trigger and he dropped. The other one turned, I squeezed the trigger, he roared at me, took off, and I squeezed the second shot on him. And he runs a little bit, and I hear him crash. He's down. Then he's roaring, he's mad. I said, oh Lord, I hit him in the muscle, or I hit him in that shoulder plate, and I didn't get good penetration. And I have no idea how big they are. A little bitty pig sounds like a 500-pound pig when they do that roar. It's demonic sounding. It's very scary. Well, then I hear coming toward me, behind me, I hear one coming. And I'm looking through that scope. The one on the ground, he expired immediately. And I'm hoping the other one is still alive. He'll come out, and I can do a headshot on him, and because I don't want him suffering. Even a pig, no animal deserves to suffer, period. This one coming behind me, I turn around, and the scope I'm using, it is a thermal scope. It's the cheapest one you can get, and it's took me a long time to get it. You do it on a layaway where you can pay like 20 bucks a month on it. But anyway, I finally got it out about 2 months ago. So I turn it, and I'm not seeing anything. I'm scanning the area, and so I had to, he come out of the way over this way. I'm right-handed. You can't turn that way, so I had to move the rifle to my left hand, my left shoulder, and I'm trying to look left-eyed through it, and I'm looking around, and I don't see him. So I lower it, and I'm listening, and I realize he's over, I'm looking in the wrong area. So I move over there, I look, and there he is. He shows up on the screen. I said, that it looked like about a 80 to 100-pound pig. He moves behind a pine tree, so I don't have a shot. He steps out and he stops, but I got a shot on his vitals. So I squeeze the trigger and he just drops. And pigs all around me, but it's so thick I can't see him at all. I waited, everything finally went down. I could hear them moving away from me, and they're going back kind of behind me, but just way out of my range. Everything goes quiet, so I climb down and got my headlamp, and I go to the one in front of me because I know he's down. I go over and look at him. I'm going to drag him back to the foiler, which is about 75 or 80 yards. I get over there, and this pig is enormous. He's huge. He's big tusks on him. I said, oh, my Lord. The other one was the same size because they were side by side. And I could hear him grunting, not grunting, kind of like he's mad, like a growl that they do. And I said, oh, well, I ain't going in there. It's so thick, I cannot go in there and risk this pig getting me. So I pull the four-wheeler up to that one that's laying right there on the side of the trail. I tied my tow rope in his mouth behind his big tusk, got him tied up to the back of the four-wheeler, and I drug him that mile all the way back to the truck. Dropped him off. I come back. I said, well, I'm going to get the one by the tree stand because I knew he dropped instantly. You know, and he looked close to 100 pounds. I walk in, put my hand on his, get him by the back leg, and I'll drag him to the foiler. Go back there. I can't find him. It's dark. I'm using lights. I got 3 lights. I got a headlamp here, my big flashlight here. I got my rifle under my arm and my little flashlight. I got lights everywhere. I don't like being in the dark at all. I just started night hunting. This year I started going out when it was dark. I've never been able to do that, so I'm on edge. Well, I'm moving around. I can't figure out where he is, so I back out, and I'm nowhere near the tree stand, and I know the angle. So I went back to where my stand is, and I'm looking, and I see my tracks going that way. Well, the pig was that way. When I shot, I said, doggone, I went the wrong way. So I went back in. I'm not seeing him, and I'm just doing a circle, getting bigger and bigger, covering more and more area. And it's real thick with this little tunnel going through the brush. I squat down, shine the light in there, and there he is. I could see his hair, you know, over the pine straw. I could see the side of him. So I go around that stuff. I come up on him, and this pig is enormous. He's bigger than the other one. And it's a boar, big boar. And I said, oh, geez. You know, and I'm trying to think the easiest, I'm climbing over stuff, under stuff to get back there. And I'm thinking, I got to drag him out. So I got my pocket tow rope. I pull it out, and I start thinking about it. This other pig is shot. He's alive, and he's mad. This thing's going to attack me. If he's as big as that other one or this one, I'd be in serious trouble. And I said, I'm just leaving this one. He's expired. So I went back to the truck in the foiler, way down there by the highway, and I got my pruners. And I come back, and I went down where I shot the first one at, where that one was back there. And I go to pull the four-wheeler in, going to use the lights of the four-wheeler, my headlamp, and my handheld light, and try to spot him as I'm scooting through it. Well, I get up there, I can't go but 10 feet into it. It's so thick, there's no way that four-wheeler's going through that stuff. Big brush. And so I got to get off. I got to find him. And I can't take the risk of trying to get the one that was expired, get him out, and knowing there's an injured one back here alive. It's a pig like that will kill you very quickly. Very powerful animals, very durable, very tough, and very aggressive. And so I look for about 10 minutes. I can't figure out where he is. I don't want to get no further than about 25 feet from the foiler because I want to be able to get to it and get on top of it to where at least I got somewhat of a chance of finishing him off before he gets to me. Well, I go to turn the foiler around to where if I have to get out of there quick, I can jump on it and go. And I got it turned around, facing out. And then I thought about it, so well, dadgum, if I leave it running so I can leave quick, I'm not going to hear him if he's going to come after me. So I got all this going through my mind. I'm by myself, and Chris knows. I let Chris know that I just shot one. Well, I turn the foiler off, I leave the lights on, and I walk 10 feet behind the foiler, and I can't figure out, I'm not seeing no blood. I don't know which way he went. And there's a little bitty tunnel, like what a raccoon would make through the brush, through some real thick stuff like that. Little bitty tunnel. So I get down on my knees in that muck, and I look under it, and he's laying 10 feet from me. He's not facing me. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at his entire side. Like a dog will lay there and put his head on his feet like and go to sleep. It'll look like, and when they lay like that, they're waiting on you. And you get up on them, they'll lunge at you. And I couldn't get to him. I said, oh, I can't get through this with a rifle in my hand. I got to set it down. And I said, nope, I ain't doing that. So I got the pruners off the foiler and I'm cutting limbs. I'm trying to keep it open. I got the rifle right here and I'm trying to snip and make sure if he charges, I can drop the pruners and I can hopefully stop him. My heart's pounding. I get all that stuff cleared and he's right there in the open. I put the bright light on him. I got the gun aimed at him and I got the bright light. And I'm watching him. He's not breathing. There's a piece of a pine limb beside me because they'll lay there and play dead on you, and I got that pine limb and I can't hit a house if I'm standing up next to it. I can't throw and hit nothing. I tossed that pine limb left-handed. I'm right-handed. I can't throw left-handed either. And I tossed it and it hit him right in his face. That will never happen again. He didn't blink, he didn't flinch, and I knew he's expired. So I cut the limbs, I get up there and I took the rifle off safety and with the barrel of the rifle, I pushed him right where his brain would be. I nudged his head to where if he jumps up, all I do is squeeze the trigger and he's not suffering. Well, he was gone. I got to drag him back about 12 feet to where I can get the foiler to him to pull him out. And I can't drag him. He's too big. It took me 45 minutes to drag that pig from right here where I'm standing to about right here. It took me 45 minutes to drag him that short a distance. He was so big. Well, I hooked a strap to him. I took him to the truck, to the trailer, dropped him off, and I come back, I gotta get the last one. And that was a job. I shot him at 11 o'clock. I finally got the last one to the truck at 3 in the morning. I loaded the four-wheeler up and I can't get him on the trailer. I dropped him off right at the back of the trailer, literally right there. So I had to use the ramps that you use for loading up the tractor on the trailer. I had to use them, and about 6 inches at a time. And I finally got him on the trailer. Well, I get him home, and at 4 o'clock, I get cleaned up, lay down, and I get woke up at 6 o'clock. Anyway, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm dizzy, I feel like I got a hangover, and I don't drink, I don't mess with drugs, I don't do anything like that, and I felt horrible. I was dizzy and just, well, 2 families that I was given meat to, we contacted them. The one guy said, I'll come right now. He was at my house in 15 minutes. He flew up there. The 2 of us, we slid him off the trailer into my wagon, and we caught pure cane getting him in the bed of the truck, but we got him up in the truck finally. And he said, I'm gonna take it down, and his buddy will cut it up for him. He don't know how to do all that. And he said, I asked him, so what are you gonna do with the head on him? Because I've never saved none of that. And I finally seen a European mount, a skull mount off one, and they're so incredible. They really glorify, not glorify, but they really honor that majestic quality them big hogs have. They are amazing animals. They're destructive, yes. They're dangerous, yes. But to see them in the wild, they are so smart. They're wicked animals. They're awesome. And I seen that mount, and I said, I want one. And Chris has got a good friend who is a taxidermist. He's going to do it for me. So he told me, he said, well, I didn't harvest this animal, so I got, it wouldn't be right if I mount the head on it. He said, I'm just going to tell him to throw it away. And I said, well, will you, can you tell him that I want it back? If you're just going to trash it, I'll take it back. And he drove it back to the house. His buddy cut the head off for him. He brought it back. And I'm going to show you guys, I don't know if it's a video clip or pictures that I did. Either one. I'm going to put them in here where y'all can see these pigs. The tusk on them were like that long. They were huge and razor sharp. The back edge of them is what's sharp. Because when they grind their teeth together, the top tusk, that rooter tusk, grinds against the cutter. And they cut when they're chewing, they're sharpening their teeth constantly, and they are literally like a razor. You can touch them and they'll cut you. The points, they're sharp, but not like the blade on the backside. It's scary how sharp they are. But anyhow, the other family told them, come on, they need to meet a lot of children. And the mother is a homemaker. The father works 60, 65 hours a week, and they barely get by. And I told them, so I got a big pig for you. And, close to that 300-pound mark. All right, we're on the way. That was about 10:30 in the morning. They showed up at 3, finally. And I was so worn down. But I had to clean two of them pigs, and showed him how to do it. We got him clean. It takes an hour and a half to do a pig that size, because you can't peel the skin off like you can a deer. You have to literally cut it. Unless you cut it in little strips about 1.5 inches, 2 inches wide from their butt down to the base of their head, all the way around them, cut all the way down. Take vice grips and you peel each strip, and they'll peel pretty easy. And then you gotta remove the head, split them open, remove the entrails, and then quarter up the rest of the carcass, which is cutting the shoulders off, the hams off of it, the back straps, the ribs, the tenderloins, breaking it down. So I did that to 2 pigs. About 7 o'clock in the evening, I was so tired, I was miserable, I was hallucinating, seeing shadows, I was out of it. Thinking they're gonna leave. His wife is coming back. She had to run to town. She's coming back and the tire blows on the highway. So I had to wait for them another couple of hours, and then I had to take them down to their van so they can get the tire. We can get her tire aired up and fixed. And it was a long night. It was late when I got to bed last night, and then I woke up at 7 this morning, and I'm still tired. But anyhow, it's been nonstop, and then I gotta go to Alabama tomorrow, and then I'll be back tomorrow evening. But it's been a really crazy day. But I got 3 fine hogs. One of them, we've got at home in the cooler. That's going in our freezer, unless one of the groups that we help will respond. I sent a message out, the third one, 3 messages, and I've gotten an answer back yet. No answer. And if they contact me back that they want the meat, then that one's going to go to them. But if not, we'll be putting it in the freezer. We do not kill these pigs and leave them lay. We do not do that. If we kill them, they will be eaten. The meat will be used. We honor the Father, we honor the animal, for us being able to receive that animal as meat. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. It's been extremely busy, very long weekend. I am still very tired. And now I got something over here moving around. That bad feeling's gone. I don't feel it now. But when I got back to the car, it was really strong, overwhelming. Same feeling I had when I first walked in over here. I got it. I don't know if I'm going to show you that clip or not in this, but I may. But whatever that was I seen, it was right back there, about 200, 250 yards from where we're at right now. You have to go in over here. You go this way about 70 or 80 yards, and you got to kind of cut down south, about a southeast angle for about 60 yards or so, and then you head due south, and you got to go east. That's just the way the trail is since Hurricane Michael laid all the trees down. It's not a straight shot like it used to be, but whatever that was, it looked orange, like a reddish orange. I did not see a bipedal figure. I seen whatever it was an animal on 4s. I'm almost positive, because the hair, it didn't hang down this way, it went sideways. And it was a real deep, dark orange, and then it had like bright yellow highlights in it. And I don't know, deer don't look like that. Dogs can, pigs can. We don't have no pigs here, but pigs can. I don't know about bears. I think most of our bears are black. I have no idea what it was, but it spooked me, and I apologize for cutting that out. And we was down to the pictures. I kept hearing it move, and then everything kind of went silent for a few seconds. And when I turned and looked, I could see something moving, but it was under all that stuff. It was more like a shadow. And in my mind, I was thinking the wind blowing, the limbs moving around, just making a shadow kind of move. But when I come back over by the tree and I started showing you guys the pictures and I kept looking over there at it, that's when I actually seen it closer to that opening. I seen it. It didn't move far, maybe that far, but it was enough that I seen the definitive movement. I seen the colors, I could see the hair, the striations of the hair, and I seen it move, and that was enough. I don't want a part of that. Whatever it was, it's not for me. Guys, y'all have a wonderful rest of your weekend. God bless you. I love you. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for being here with me, and I'll absolutely be seeing you soon. Until that time, be safe always. Y'all have a good day. Look at that big boy right there. I got 3 down. Look at the tusk on that fucker. Oh my lord, he's about 250 pounds. Okay, the other one is right back in here somewhere. But I'm pretty sure that other one is probably still alive. 2 shots on him, but it takes a lot to stop these guys. And I am not going back there. I'm gonna take the 4-wheeler. Oh my lord, that's a big. I got a sow over there down too. Over by the stand is way back in that tree right there. I got another sow down about 30 yards to the left, back up in there, just behind it. I had to shoot her left-handed. Shot these 2, shot him. Second one took off and I shot him. He went, I think he went through there and I shot him a second time. He kept on trucking. Well, I gotta get this big boy out. Oh my lord, look at that pig. Make sure. Good gracious. That is a monster. Look at that thing. I'm gonna get him to the truck. I'm gonna get a rope on him and get him drug. Just bear with me for a minute. 300 blackout. Little bitty bullet, no kick. Puts meat on the table, absolutely. All right, here's pig number 2. Look at the size of that joker. Folks, some tusk right there. That tooth right there will eat your lunch for you. He's about 250 pounds, maybe 270. He's a big one. He might even go 300, I don't know. I can't drag him. I got him turned, that's where he was laying at. And I gotta somehow get him right there to that little opening right there. Oh well, here we go. And guys, 3 boars over 250 and 275 pounds. Look at that. Incredible. Huge tusk. You can see how long that tusk is. Boy, they'll cut you. Look at this joker. Golly Moses. That's what we're trying to get off this lease. Guys, this is a 7.5 foot wide trailer. 3 pigs laying long ways. Filled it up. Praise the Lord.